RAF Museum in Wolverhampton today, where there's going to be a gathering of Amis, and I've found one already here on the A5, which is nice. Hubnut, sponsored by Lancaster Insurance. Well, here we are at Cosford, the RAF Museum. Very impressive building behind me, but I mean, frankly, that's nothing compared to the lineup we've got going on here. So should we take a walk along the line? So we're here because it's 50 years of the Citroen Ami 8, the second generation Ami. And if you watch my NEC report, you will have seen this one, because that one was there in this remarkable, very 70s colour. And this is a very early one, so it might actually be a 69, because it's got sliding front windows. You'll note they later changed to a winding type on the front, but kept the sliders at the back. So Ami 8, effectively 2CV running gear, 602cc, but with a few mods, a sort of forced induction, so a slightly forced induction, and different pistons, 9:1 compression ratio. They produce about 33 brake horsepower. And yeah, it's nice to see so many of them together, because you don't often see an Ami at all. And the States are definitely in the majority, it would seem, today. So let's go and see what else we've got. This is obviously, both of these are French left-hand drive, but the one next to it is right-hand drive. So that'll be a UK market, mid-70s, and number plate. That's another import, another estate, but it's not all Amis. Look, it's a DS Chaperon. Yeah, looks like a genuine one, because the genuine ones were made on estate chassis, bizarrely, and the estates have 2 jacking points, so that's quite a good identification point. So hugely valuable cars, so it's nice to see one here. Beautifully patinated leather interior, utterly bonkers. And look at the little indicators perched on the back. Very nice. And we have a left-hand drive 2CV, which I know has come from Derbyshire, and a DS Saloon. And these have the indicators in the trumpets at the top. Optional Venetian blind in the back. Marvellous. That's a lovely colour as well. I hope the wind isn't being too problematic. It is very windy. RAF bases, funnily enough, tend to be in windy places. You probably know this one. She is looking all pretty, don't get too close. This is the Ami we travelled with on the A5 and M54 this morning. Heavily laden it was. Got an Ami Super, spot the slots, and also should have slotted wheels, yes. Because these have the 1015cc GSA engine, and this is actually a saloon as well, not a hatchback, unfortunately. It's a shame, because it would have made it more practical, but yeah, you sort of lift up flap. And then we've got my friend Colin's 2CV. You'll have seen one of Colin's cars before, because I test drove his Matra Morena, but this is his daily shed of a 2CV, complete, I'm pleased to say, with Hubnut sticker. And yeah, that's also running a 652, but he's got a 2-into-1 exhaust system, which is a bit different to the standard crossbox. Oh dear, I see he's had some collision damage. Over here, more 2CVs. That's a custom one. They didn't do white and yellow. I'm hoping there'll be another white and yellow one coming up a bit later on. And next to it, another rarity, another import, left-hand drive. It's a black one, and they never sold black 2CVs in the UK, so that makes that one quite unusual. And we've got more 8s along here, and a Visa. Although, really, look at this. Is that not just perfection on wheels? Ami 6 brakes, so that's where the Ami story began. With these and the crazy Berlines with the slant back rear windows. I would love one of those Berlines, but I think I could bring myself to live with an Ami 6 estate. And Visa is a Super E, which I think means It will have, I don't know what size engine, but it'll be a suitcase engine in that, I think. Very nice. Well, at least you know what everything does. It must be said, they weren't great at labelling stuff back in the day. So we've got more arrivals. Got an Ami 8, that was on the 2CV run I did earlier this year when we went up to Wanlock Head and Tan Hill. Red special, obligatory. My friend's Citroen BX turbo diesel estate. This is a very late one on an L plate, so the Xantia was in production, but they hadn't yet done the Xantia estate. BX estates, the bodies were built by Huliers, the coach builders, and which is why it uses hatchback doors, but very nice looking car. That's my mate Andy's 2CV. He's just done an engine rebuild on it, and yeah, doesn't seem to be leaking anything on the floor, so well done, Andy. A very, very scruffy yellow and black 2CV Charleston. You don't have to wash it, it's optional. This one belongs to my friends Alex and Sean, and amusingly, at an event last year I gave them a ride around a field in Ely, and they enjoyed it so much they bought a 2CV. So be very wary about accepting a lift in my 2CV, you might become addicted. And then we've just had this Diane turn up, which is the missing link really. We've got Amis and 2CVs. The Diane is the one in the middle, and I do like Dianes. Much more practical because you've got hatchback, sliding windows, much more aerodynamic, they're faster, quieter, much better car than the 2CV. Their only failing is that they are not a 2CV, and for me, yeah, I quite like them. So there you go, that is the entire lineup at this celebration of the Citroen Ami. 50 years of the Ami 8. Remember, that's that one, not that one, because the Ami 6 was launched in 1961, so that's even older. And I'm afraid there will be lots more Citroen content coming this year, because we're also going to the there's a Citroen Centenary event first weekend in June in Coventry, where I think we're going to also go for a bit of a razz around the track at Coventry Motor Fest. And then I'm off to France in Ely, where we'll go to the Citroen Centenary events in La Ferté-Vidame, which is Normandy, I think. And then after that, we're going to go to the World Meeting of 2CV Friends in Croatia. So we are in for quite the year, all in this little 2CV. So I hope her engine is going to be okay. She is flying along now. She's doing 43 mpg. And somewhere, I'm not sure where I'm going to post it, we did a 0 to 60 this morning, and it was good fun. So I look forward to actually working out what it is. It occurs to me this might be my best opportunity for a 0 to 60 in Ely. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. That's 40, 50, indicated 60, actual 60. That felt quite quick to me. And an Ami 8 estate just drove past us while we were in the lay-by, which was nice. Well, I was fooled, because this is not an original Chaperon. I was entirely wrong. I probably should have googled the reg number and I would find out. It's an aftermarket one built by a company in Oxford, so it's a British built conversion. It is on the estate chassis, and it is definitely steel. There are subtle clues that it might be steel of a bubbly nature. So a company built these sort of late 80s, early 90s, and yeah, not the best way to do business. It wasn't hugely financially successful, but very interesting nonetheless. And yeah, a little something has managed to creep into the headlamp. So, like the SM, the inner headlamps turn with the steering. Fascinating bit of design, even if it's not a genuine decapotable. So we're in the Cold War building here at the RAF Museum at Cosford. Planes all over the place. Yes, that is a Vulcan back there. Maybe we'll go and have a look at that in a bit. But for me, one of the more interesting cars is this Opel Senator. It's four-wheel drive and was used as something of a spy car in East Germany back in the day. It's got special lights on it. There isn't too much really about what it used to get up to, but it's worth trying to find out more. No doubt tuned in. You got blinds in the back so you can't see what's going on. And all finished in a military colour, so meant to look a bit normal, but it clearly looks a bit suspicious. That was probably the times when they were playing cat and mouse, trying to hide in it, whilst military people from other countries probably pretended they weren't looking at them and all this sort of weird thing. This is a Hagland, an articulated machine, originally a Volvo design, I think. Volvo certainly built a lot of them. I've driven a Volvo one. Very strange to drive because you've still got a steering wheel. Yeah, it all pivots using hydraulics down here. Yeah, very interesting vehicle to drive. Many years since I did drive one. Let's see what other vehicles we've got here. It is meant to be an RAF museum, but there are cars about the place. Ubiquitous Beetle and Mini, but also Trabant. I did think they had a Wartburg here, but maybe I imagined that. So obviously your new cars in East Germany were a bit limited. So I should just say hello aging wheels again. This one looks a little bit tidier than Mr. Aging Wheels example. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. So this is an Alvis Scorpion tank, and not tank, light armoured tracked reconnaissance vehicle. Don't call it a tank, it really upsets the military people. And the interesting thing about these is they have Jaguar engines. So the same XK engine as an E-Type, albeit obviously in a slightly different standard of tune. And I think they just have one enormous carburettor on them. And I did a photo shoot, I think it was last year, it might have been the year before. No, it would have been 2018 because it was for the XK70 for Classic Jaguar, where I was doing photos being chased by one of these. So I was driving the camera car while one of these was hurtling along behind me, and believe me, these things can shift. They are quite nippy, and when you have one of those bearing down behind you, well, you're certainly not tempted to do an emergency stop, let's put it that way. Really is another world, isn't it? I'm not a military person in the slightest, but I can't really imagine trying to spend my time living in one of those. But yeah, they've got all sorts of scary instruments of war here. But the Vulcan is one of the most impressive, without shadow of a doubt. And they've actually got it hanging from the ceiling. So this really is the dream of someone who probably had a model of one of those in their bedroom as a child. And yeah, living the dream by hanging it from the roof of this enormous hangar. And there's other planes also hanging from the roof, which certainly makes it a very interesting display. So yeah, if you are in the area, do come to Cosford and have a look at the RAF Museum. I'm going to get back to the Citroens. But there you go, that is the Citroen Gathering here at Cosford for 50 years of the Citroen Ami 8. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.